Hi guys, Patrick here again with another tutorial. So I thought in this session I'd talk about colouring and shading in Photoshop. So I've drawn a character in outline. I'm going to duplicate the outline layer and we're going to use the bottom layer to colour. I'm going to use the fill bucket tool to quickly colour the character in flat colours. So I think I'm going to go for green for the legs, dark turquoise for the body, shirt sleeves will be brown, boots and wrists dark brown, red hair, and a grey blue for the sword. We're going to make a new layer for the shading. So we could take the colour of the tunic with the eyedropper tool, darken it down slightly, and shade the darker side of the tunic. Take that khaki brown colour of the sleeves, darken it again, paint on the shadows. So we could do it that way, but there's actually a quicker way of doing it, and I think it actually looks a whole lot better, and it's much quicker and more efficient. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick a colour for all the shadows. I think a dark purple works well, and we're going to start shading. And we're going to bring down the layer opacity down to about 20%. I think that looks nice. It gives this bluish purple tint to the shadows, which I think feels more natural. So we're going to go ahead, start adding more shading under the chin, on the sleeves, on the side of the sword, on the leg, a few more bits here, under the arm, on the bottom of the feet. There we go, quick and easy. And we're going to do the same thing with the highlights. We're going to create a new layer, and we're going to add a yellow colour. And that's going to contrast well with the purple of the shadows. So we're just going to add a little bit to a sword and nose, a bit on the tunic, and that'll do. Now we might add another layer, and this time we're going to add just a few details. So I'm going to add a little bit of pink on the cheek and on the nose. Dial that down with the opacity, and then a little bit on her knuckles where she's holding the sword, a little bit of white in her eye, a bit of green or blue. There we go. And we might also add another layer of shadow, so just to affect the really dark areas. And we're just going to draw that on in purple once again. A little bit on the boot, on the other leg, just in the very darkest areas, and that's going to build up several layers. So on the very back of the head, the edge of the sword. Yeah, that looks about right. So I'm going to pull the opacity down to I think 20 or 30. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to create an extreme highlight. Make another layer. Extreme highlight on the top of the hair. A light yellow. On the sleeve. A bit on the sword. The very edge of the tunic. On the very point of the sword. We're going to change the opacity. And that looks good. Now, putting on a dark background, we can just tidy it up a bit. There's a few pixels, a few stray pixels that just need to be sorted out, and changing the background can help. There we go. So as we integrate it into the environment, we obviously need to pay attention to the light directions. I've actually flipped it round just so that it matches the light direction. You might want to consider having the light come directly from above, then it doesn't matter. She could be facing either way. But again, you can use these shadow effects on backgrounds, on assets, on anything. We're going to leave it there. Email me if you need any feedback or help. Take care and hope that was helpful.